Sairam, dear students. How are you all? Hope you're all doing well. And in today's class, we'll be learning about agriculture sector, which is such an important sector for a country like India. It provides income to millions of farmers and it provides food to all of us. And not only that, it is a source of national income. So therefore, a number of reasons why agriculture is such an important sector in Indian economy. So what we'll be learning today, we'll be learning what are the three sectors in Indian economy, why they use this word sector very often, so you will know what sector means, what are the different types of crops grown in India, and briefly take a look at agriculture. Just like a cricketer, Virat Kohli walks into the field and looks around where fielders are placed, isn't it? So he just takes a brief look at the agriculture, cricket field. Similarly, you will also take a brief look at agriculture sector. And what is the importance of agriculture sector in Indian economy? So very briefly, let us learn these important aspects. So India has three sectors. Indian economy or any economy for that matter, all economic activities are categorized under these three sectors. What do you mean by sector? Sector means part, section, so you, for example, in outside schools, a lot of commercial schools have around 4 or 5 or 7 sections for one class, isn't it? First standard or a second standard will have 2-3 sections. So similarly, sections means what? A part of something. A part of a standard is a section, in a school. Similarly, a part of economy is called sector. So sector means part. So this first part, which is primary sector. Why is it called primary? Because it is a first stage. All economic activities which are actually in the first stage of economy. For example, we all know that farming or mining, for that matter, extracting iron ore, that is the first stage of manufacturing or producing iron or steel and etc., isn't it? So mining is actually falls under primary sector. Similarly, agriculture is part of primary sector. Actually, it is a major part. Maximum bulk of primary sector is agriculture. So in agriculture, you grow different types of crops, isn't it? And you all know that, you all have observed that. I need not tell you separately. But what is the meaning of this allied sector? Allied means allied activities are related to agriculture. See here, fisheries, or goat rearing, sheep rearing, poultry, all these are part of allied activities. Allied means related. So they all extract raw materials. So, for example, from earth, a farmer sows a seed and he extracts harvest, isn't it? A rice farmer extracts from the ground. It is in the first stage. So that is primary sector. Secondary sector is second stage, you can think of it like that way. Second stage of whatever that is extracted, raw material, goes into processing. Processing means just fine tuning it. For example, cotton is sent to industries. For what? Cotton becomes their cotton thread. Then it is converted into a cloth, isn't it? So That is processing. That is the example of processing. From iron ore, it is sent to iron industries and they fine tune it, remove all the wastages. So this is called processing. And produce some valuable commodity. So this is manufacturing and industrial sector falls under secondary sector, second stage. These are all industrial sectors. Example is textile, automobile, construction, iron and steel. You can go on and on. The third sector is tertiary sector. Tertiary means third stage, you can think of it that way. Example of a tertiary economic activity is all this. You see here telecom, transportation, healthcare, finance. They all are providing what? They are providing services. They are providing services. They are not providing you, manpower. Now, if you go to, for example, a bank and you want to deposit some money or borrow some loan, they will give you financial services, isn't it? They won't, bank employees, don't sell themselves. That is not how it works. You go to a bank so that the bank employee gives you financial services. Services means something that is intangible, that which you cannot touch and see and feel. Services word also has another meaning, as you all know. Any charitable activity, helping the poor and all this, people call it service. That's fine. But in economics, service sector means something that is intangible. What is the spelling of intangible? I-N-T-A-N-G, intangible, I-B-L-E. So intangible means something which you cannot touch, feel or see for that matter. So that is intangible. So these all fall under tertiary sector. Okay. So agriculture falls under primary sector. So we look at what is the importance of agriculture. So it's a primary economic activity, produces food, raw materials for industries. Raw materials also means, in Kannada it's called kacha vastugalu. So it is a rough, source of, production for secondary sector. As I told you, raw cotton is an example for raw material. Iron ore is an example for raw material. So that is, iron ore is in mining. But here, tomato is an example for raw material. Tomato goes to a ketchup factory and it becomes tomato ketchup. So it's a raw material for ketchup factory. So it provides raw materials. And example of some major production that is happening in India is India is largest producer of milk in the world, because we have largest population of buffaloes and cows actually. And India is a major producer of fruits also. Major means first, highest producer of these agriculture commodities. Bananas, papayas, mangoes, etc. in the world. So India is a agriculture superpower in a way, in terms of total production. Okay. So we will look at briefly, how has our India agriculture has been since independence. During the time of independence, 70% of India's population actually dependent directly on agriculture. Means out of 10 people, every 7 person was working in agriculture. So they didn't have many industries and manufacturing sectors so that they could be provided employment. So they depended on agriculture. So therefore, in most economies, what happens is, as economies develop, they keep developing with higher income. What happens? They get educated, isn't it? With education, they shift over to manufacturing or service sector. Now, if I didn't have education, probably I would be working in agriculture sector or somewhere. Not only that, there are many educated people also who are taking up agriculture. Don't think agriculture is done only by illiterates. No, that is not right. But in general, what is observed is when an economy grows, they become developed, they become prosperous, people shift from agriculture to industry, industry to services, etc. like that. So, as the economy develops, you will see number of people working in agriculture sector starts reducing. Let us see some statistics of it, okay? So this, I have taken statistics from 1901, long back. You see nearly 72% of the people depended on agriculture during that time. Then again in 1951, 72, kept reducing. Because after independence, we started growing, isn't it? It kept reducing. And then actually till 1971, not much reduction you can see. Because not many industries were there. 1981 onwards, number of industries started growing. Okay. More and more industries started setting up their companies in India. So you will see that it started reducing. You look at the statistics of 2009 and 2019, very recent. Last 10 years, 11 years, you look at how agriculture has reduced. See here, 72% till 1971. But within a matter of short span, we have seen reduction in agricultural activity. But the manufacturing sector has increased. See 21% here, and in 2019, 25% of the people engaged in manufacturing sector. 32% in service sector. Service sector is teaching, healthcare, or journalism, or a painter, a cinema. These are all examples, entertainment. These are all examples of service sector. So therefore, you can see that agriculture sector has been reducing in terms of number of people who are working in agriculture sector. It is reducing. Service sector, number of people working in service sector is increasing, in fact. So not only that, number of people, though it is reducing, but still it is very high, isn't it? Nearly 42%. Take a look at the statistics. Nearly 42% are still engaged in agriculture. But how much do they contribute to national income? It is very, very less. In 2019, they contribute only 16% approximately to national income. So half of the nearly 42% of the population contributes only 16% of the national income. Rest all are shared by industries and service sector. Okay. 42% of the labor force contributes just 16%. But during independence time, it used to be 57% of the income. Means more than half of the income actually belonged to agriculture sector. See, this is why it is very sad state of agriculture, because those many people working for such a less amount, they are not earning much income compared to other economic activities. So look at sector-wise distribution of GDP. Sector-wise distribution means agriculture sectors from 1951 to 2013-2014 we will see. Okay. So agriculture sector, which is denoted in red, it used to be nearly more than 55%. It started reducing. Income of the agriculture sector, people working, started reducing. Reducing means not their individual income. Amount of money that they can contribute to national income, that is reducing. Okay. So agriculture contribution is reducing. You see manufacturing is actually given in green, isn't it? So manufacturing is actually increasing slowly, not very fast. Okay, but you look at service sector, 30%, and now it is more than 55%. It has increased much faster than man, industrial sector. So this is the contribution of agriculture over last 70 years, roughly 65 or 64 years.